before we get started, let's check out the links in my description. We all want nice things. We want the car, we want a house, we want a high limit credit card. But if you don't have at least a 680 credit score, you're not even in the game. So click this link here to know where you stand and get your free credit scores from all three bureaus. That will be Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And also get your reports. If you would like to be free and become financially independent through entrepreneurship, click this link here to be free. If you'd like to get cash back, which is a discount during shopping, please click this link here to see my favorite cashback sites. And if you enjoy the music you hear in the background, please click the link here and subscribe to It's Oasis. Hello everyone, welcome back to Community Wealth. Today we're going to get into 3 lessons from small business owners on PPP Forgiveness. But before we do that, if you would like to be qualified for credit products or financial products with your financial institution, you can click the credit monitoring link in the description below so you know where you stand with your credit. You get your 3 credit scores from all 3 bureaus, from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, along with your reports. And also, if you'd like to make extra cash or full-time cash using your vehicle, you can click the Wealth Dasher link in the description below. That way you can dash around town and make $500 to $1,000 plus per week. And if you don't want to use your vehicle, or if you don't have a vehicle, in conjunction with the Wealth Dasher link, you can click the Wealth Hire Car link. And that way you can use the hire car to dash around town and make $500 to $1,000 plus per week. Right, so let's get into this article about PPP loan forgiveness from business owners. 3 lessons on PPP loan forgiveness from small business owners. Right? Despite the confusion, delays, and headaches many small business owners endured to secure a Paycheck Protection Program loan, having the balance forgiven may prove surprisingly, refreshingly simple. Honestly, the whole process was incredibly easy and straightforward, says Jill Draper, owner of Jill Draper Makes Stuff, a yarn shop in upstate New York. The bank sent a DocuSign form and almost everything was auto-filled. I didn't know that, so now she's telling us what it looks like. Alright, it's a DocuSign form and everything is auto-filled. But when these DocuSigns, always go over the information of DocuSigns, because it could be something, in there that's not right, and you want to make sure that it's correct, because if not, that can mess up everything. That's with anything that uses DocuSign. Alright, anything. It's not just for this, it's for anything that uses DocuSign. You want to check that stuff out. Alright. She simply checked a few boxes to indicate how she spent her $9,100 loan, the first of 2 PPP loans she received. About 10 days later, she got the email her loan was forgiven in full. Draper's experience isn't a fluke. Bethany Rusin, founder and director of Black Hound Clay Studio in Philadelphia, had her first PPP loan, $9,789, forgiven on March 5th, 2021. It was really easy, Rusin said. It was essentially me just uploading all of the stuff from my payroll processor. Sierra Pressler, founder of Pregame, a business coaching and consulting firm, admits she initially put off applying for forgiveness of her $3,002 PPP loan. I kept pushing it off because I was afraid it would be a big process with a lot of documentation, Pressler says. That wasn't the case. It was such a simple and fast process that I could have done it right away. It only took a few minutes. Okay, so it's sounding like it's a lot easier than what we think it is. I know I get a lot of comments asking about the PPP forgiveness. Have I had mine forgiven yet? But I haven't. And it's looking like it's very simple from what they're saying. It might even be even simpler than that, but I don't know what can be more simpler than that, checking a few boxes. So that uploading thing, I don't know. But again, if it's just the DocuSign and you're checking some boxes, that's maybe a page or 2, and you're forgiven, that's what I'm leaning toward. I like that. That sounds great. All right. But again, if you haven't gotten a loan, if you hadn't gotten a grant from the EIDL, or a PPP loan, or a EIDL loan, don't worry about it. All right. because all you have to do is get your credit profile together. You can start by clicking the credit monitoring link in the description below, and that way you can check out your score. See where you're at with all three bureaus: Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And once you know where you're at, you know how to correct the things in your report, so that way you can qualify for credit products from your financial institution. Okay, and while you're doing that, you can earn cash, $500 to $1,000 plus per week, by clicking the Wealth Dasher link in the description below. And if you don't have a card, or you don't want to use your vehicle in conjunction with Wealth Dasher, click the Wealth Hire card. That way you can use the Hire card to make $500 to $1,000 plus per week. Okay. Draper, Rosen, and Pressler have different business structures: sole proprietor LLC and S corporation, and use different types of lenders: credit union, big bank, and non-bank lender. But there are a few common threads that made PPP loan forgiveness seamless. And I'm going to assume that the S corporation was a little different from the sole proprietor LLC. Sole proprietor LLC is just single member LLC. All right. First, their loans were less than $150,000. Borrowers with loans in that range don't need to show the receipts. In most cases, you just need to check a box stating you comply with PPP requirements around payroll costs and eligible expenses. You also need to show qualifying revenue loss for second draw loans, which a lot of us do have that. If you don't, you may have to pay the second loan back, which is not going to be a lot, but I know your plan is not to pay the second loan back. But if you don't have that loss, I think it was 30%, then you may have to pay that second loan back, because that's the qualification for the second draw, right? The vast majority of PPP borrowers fall in this group. Of the nearly 6.7 million PPP loans issued in 2021, 95% were for $150,000 or less. In 2020, 87% of all PPP loans were for $150,000 or less. While you can't control your loan amount, that's up to a U.S. Small Business Administration formula, you can control other factors to make loan forgiveness easier. Number 1, relationships matter. Pressler's PPP loan was through Chase, where she has her business checking account and is on a first name basis with her business banker. She was even in a book club with one of her bankers. That connection made all the difference when applying for her loan and for forgiveness. She had her banker's ear, despite qualifying for a few $1,000s at a time when Chase was issuing PPP loans of more than $100,000 on average. Draper's relationship with her lender, Hudson Valley Credit Union, goes back more than a decade, that allowed her to have an easy back and forth with her banker from start to finish. Well, from start to forgiveness. That sounds like a stretch, even though a lot of us do have relationships with certain people with certain businesses. But here's the thing: if it's just a simple check on a DocuSign, all that is unnecessary. All right, all that is unnecessary. I'm not saying they're lying or they're just making it a stretch here in this article, because relationships do matter in a lot of instances, especially in business. But even if you went through Wamply and one of their lenders, or let's just say Blue Vine or something like that, if they send you this information and it's a DocuSign, it's just a few check boxes, I don't think that relationship is gonna really matter. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue on. Keep a COVID file. I do agree with this 100%. When the pandemic shut down her studio, Rosen started a COVID-19 file to house all relevant information. I have an MFA in ceramics. I'm not a super business-minded person in terms of keeping track of those little bits and things, she says. Keeping it all in one place was really helpful for me, because I could easily find things without endlessly searching in multiple places. And I believe this person had an S Corp. I'm not going to scroll up, but I believe she had an S Corp. If she was one with the S Corp, then that's a little different. The 1099 Schedule C businesses, I don't think they had to go through all of that. Because even when you're filing, even when you put in the application, the corporations went through a whole different process than the Schedule C 1099 people. All right. Draper did the same, creating special folders, digital and paper, with copies and scans to document how every penny of her PPP loan was spent. She didn't need to provide those records for her loan forgiveness thanks to the simplified application, but she has them at the ready should the loan be audited. That's a great point. You don't want the loan to be audited. You know what I'm saying? 3, questions. Lean on experts. As questions arise, and they will, turn to professionals, your accountant, your lender, and the SBA, rather than online armchair experts. That would be me, right? Online armchair expert. There's so much information, and on social media stuff gets passed like telephone Draper says. It's helpful to know exactly what's going on versus some third-party account on Twitter. And I mention that a lot. Always call the SBA. Always call the lender. Remember, you will hear me say that in my videos, and even in the comments, I tell people try to reach out to them, send emails, try to get in a back and forth communication with them. Call them if you can, especially the SBA, because they're the ones where where the information is at, directly with them. So call SBA. They have all that stuff. Go online and go to the SBA website. They have all of the information. So you want to seek out information from SBA and the lenders. All right. I can tell you as much as I can, but you're going to get all of the information from the source. All right. And the source is SBA and the lenders. All right. So they say confused about forgiveness terms and struggling with an unresponsive lender. The SBA has webinars and counselors to help with all things PPP related. That's a pretty decent article, but number one, that whole thing about relationships, that matter, but that doesn't matter so much as far as forgiveness, in my opinion. Remember, they just called me an armchair expert, right? So, but I don't think that matters. Your main concern would be keep records, right? Keep records, especially, well, I guess it's not so much if it's just payroll related. You're just paying yourself, whatever. But I would still have that there because they just may want to see it later. And always get in touch with SBA and the lenders. That's my suggestion. I do agree with that 100%. But it sounds like forgiveness is not that big of a deal like we're making it to be. It sounds like especially if you're a Schedule C, 1099, single member, it sounds like it's just that simple. Click, 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 boom, you're done. Of course, you got to, DocuSign, you got to click in and have a DocuSign. They have the little signatures and stuff like that. If you went through the WAMP process, you know how the DocuSign works. But it seems to be that simple from what they're saying. I didn't get it yet, so when I get it, I will do a video about it. I'll walk through how to do the forgiveness process, but it seems like it's just that simple. All right, so don't make it a big deal right now. When you're tapped to do your forgiveness, you will see. And also, I did a video about SBA supposed to be opening up a forgiveness portal. That'd be even easier, but still up to the lender to reach out to you and check everything. But SBA will have a forgiveness portal, and we'll be able to check it out that way too. So you won't even have to wait for the lender at that point. You just go to the portal, and it'll force the lenders to reach out and look at the information so that it can be forgiven. All right. But anyway, thanks for watching the video. Check out the links in the description. Again, if you want to build your credits, you can qualify for any type of financial product. Remember, credit starts at 680 or better. That's when the life begins. You can do it at under 680 because I don't even have a 680 yet with things that are going on this year. But again, I've qualified for a $63,000 auto loan, $25,000 piece of simple real estate, all types of things, double my credit limit on my credit card. So everything I pretty much put my foot toward this year has went through successfully. And so you can do it too. But the life really begins at 680. That's when you get to qualify for things without that much paperwork, without that much scrutiny. But you can do it before that, as long as your credit file look great. And you can start by clicking the credit monitoring link in the description below, so you can get your scores from all three bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion, and your reports. And that way you will know what you need to look at, what you need to correct, what you need to dispute, get off your credit report, and all that good stuff like that. So you can do that right now. Click the credit monitoring link in the description below. If you want to make extra cash or full-time income, so you don't have to worry about all of this PPP stuff and unemployment and things like that, you can click the Wealth Dasher link in the description below, and that way you can use your vehicle to dash around town and make $500 to $1,000 plus per week. Now, if you don't want to use your vehicle, or if you don't have a vehicle, you can click that Wealth Hire Car link in the description below, and that will be in conjunction with the Wealth Dasher link, and that way you can use the hire car to dash around town and make $500 to $1,000 plus per week. Also, I got 5 properties for $5,500. You want to know how? Click the Be Free link in the description below. And while you're making all this money dashing, why you making all that money, right? You want to get cash back on your shopping online, right? You can get tons of cash back by clicking the cash back link in the description below, and you can see my favorite cash back sites. All right. Again, thanks for watching the video. Hope you got a lot of information in here. Subscribe to the channel, like and share the video. Subscribe to It's Awasi, and until next time, everybody, let's get this money.